Is that gonna be the upcoming events that you're gonna talk?
I will do under additional item discuss, oh, is that something else? Is that a different item? What is that? Additional item discussion? That, I'll do it under that.
I assume that was you.
I need feedback.
That's
You
what
were either upcoming events or additional items.
I'll do
discussion. I'll make
additional, I'll do additional, I mean, I can do both, but
I
the
was-
thing that I need help on, I'll talk about then.
sure. Okay. I'll let you talk on the upcoming events, just to tell us the upcoming events,
Oh gosh, I better
because,
pull up a calendar.
well, I mean,
I got mine.
well, before we start, I know that Easter is the 20th.
Okay, that's, okay.
What is between now and Easter? Easter's not till April.
Just the health fair.
April 20th.
Yeah.
Oh, the health fair, yeah, I should
I'm
know
sure
that
that-
because I'm going to do that.
Like I knew there was a health fair.
Yeah, that is
The 17th of February.
17th, and I should have knew that because I'm supposed to be there.
We'll just cover those, because surely y'all will meet again before,
February 17th.
at some point.
Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out before we got started to suggest for a meeting, one meeting, but somewhere between March and April.
Okay,
So
yeah.
that we're not going like, "Grr."
That's fine.
That is 1 to 4 for the Charlestown Health Fair. right?
Correct.
Because I have 12 p.m. because I know I've got to be there.
And I want you guys to have a meeting before April, before Easter, because Carrie she wasn't able to be here tonight.
Okay.
She wants to come and get some feedback for Easter.
So then let's do a March
If you could have one in
meeting.
March, that would be
Okay,
great.
so what's the March date you think we should stick to since you got the calendar? real quick?
It's always easy to have them that second Monday.
Okay.
I won't be here for that one, but Carrie will.
Carrie
be.
will.
So that would be March 10th.
Okay.
Because you always have the plan commission at 6:30, so this 5:30 timeframe is a really good spot
Okay.
for that. If you can do it.
Does
March
everybody
10th.
seem like that's time open for them good?
I'll be at
Okay.
Churchill that day.
Oh, shut up.
Tis the season.
Well, hopefully Christina can at least be.
Yeah, I gotta be there at 6 p.m.
All right, y'all go ahead and start the meeting, because you
Okay.
can have all that
Start us
conversation.
off, start us off, sir. Are we live? Okay. Welcome, everybody, to the Charlestown Disability Advisory Committee. Today is February 10th, 2025, 5:32 p.m. We could do a call to order. My name is Amy Benavides. I'm the president.
Ashley Tone, secretary.
Elizabeth Hardy. Cindy Perkins.
All right. Let's do the Pledge of Allegiance, folks.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alrighty. And we are being live streamed today by Render Production Multimedia. Alright, so let's get this thing started. Our standing business. We have approval or correction of the prior meeting's minutes. Anybody got any corrections that needed made for that meeting? Anything, Ashley? Everything look good? Did you get a chance? We'll send it around. Alright.
Be sure to have your vote.
I'll motion to approve.
Anybody want to second that?
I second.
All right. All right. Okay. Old business. Do we have anything we need to discuss for the old business? See, our last meeting was on December the 16th, so that was before anything with Christmas. Did everybody go to the live reindeer event? Was there any issues with that? I know we had quite a bit of parking set up for the handicap areas for vans. We used the H&R Block so that you could get in there if you had any wheelchairs or you needed extra space. I haven't had anybody reach out to me directly. You haven't heard anything? I haven't seen anything on social media about it and everything. I think that event went really well. It was pretty busy night. All right, so we'll move on to new business if anybody doesn't have anything to add. First thing we're going to do is the election of our 2025 officers. I want to nominate Liz to be our secretary. Ashley has asked to step down this year and just be a committee member for 2025. So I want to give a motion for that. Does anybody want to second the motion?
I second it.
And then, all right, and then we just need to take a vote for that. And all in favor say aye.
Aye.
No need for names. Liz, you are now the secretary. Well, maybe after this meeting, we'll let Ashley finish it up. Just one last time, we'll let her do it. All right, what about vice president? Does anybody have a motion for vice president? Ashley, you got a motion for vice president?
Even if nobody wants it, I'll nominate myself.
Do you want to be the, oh, okay, well, all right, that sounds good to me. I'll second that motion.
Oh.
She's stepping up, folks.
Get it?
Yeah.
I just don't want to do the paperwork.
Okay. All right. Then all we have left is president. Anybody want to battle me for president? Nobody's here to battle me for president, is there? Because I know Cindy don't want it.
And notice Ashley nominated herself before.
Strategic.
Then I like it.
I motion for you to remain.
Remain. All right. Anybody want to second that?
I'll second it.
All right. Okay, well, we have it there, folks. All right, so the next thing is our meeting. We have been requested to have a meeting in March so that we can discuss the upcoming events with the Parks Director, Carrie, of everything that's coming up in the next few months. So if everybody is okay with it, I know Cindy's got something else going on that day, but March 10th at 5:30. Does that sound like a good date for you, Liz or Ashley?
Yeah.
Okay. Hopefully Christina will be able to round this up.
I might be able to do like Zoom.
Zoom?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go on and put it on the books for March the 10th. I don't think we don't need a motion for that. I think we're good. All right. And so kind of as a combo, we got some upcoming events and some additional item things that Mayor Treva wants to bring to our attention. So we're going to let her take the floor.
Good evening, everyone. Okay, so a couple of things that are coming up. One before your next meeting. So we're preparing a health fair on February 17th from 1 to 4. We maxed out on our vendors for that. We have 31 vendors. That'll be at the Arts and Enrichment Center. So again, we have it there, so it's an accessible event. Spaces easy to get into. Variety of health services, everything from chiropractic care, LifeSpring, Lifespan, full list is available, and the Blood Mobile will also be here. So the Red Cross will be doing blood drive on the cafeteria side, and then the health fair will be on the sanctuary side. So that's our big event coming up for February. I don't have the calendar in front of me for March, but I don't think there's really anything big in March. I think the Easter egg hunt is April 20th. I know that Carrie wants to talk to you specifically about that. We are still planning to have it again this year at the Family Activities Park. We thought that is from an accessible standpoint, that went much better, especially with the fenced-in area in the depot to help from children eloping from their caregivers. I think Carrie's biggest question, just to kind of preview, we are actually requiring registration for that event this year. Because the crowd was so large in the past, it's gotten to the point where it's almost unmanageable. So we checked in with some of our sister communities around the area, and they all require registration. It's still a free event, but just must register in advance, because that helps us put a cap on the number of people for safety and for less chaos. But I think she was looking at capping the accessible hour at 50, just based on previous numbers that we've had. So she's going to want your feedback on that, and then also feedback on the eggs. We usually try to get larger eggs as well as smaller. But I know that one of the issues that she's probably gonna want your feedback on is what to do with siblings who are able-bodied and not experiencing any form of disability, who want to hunt with their sibling who requires special needs. We had a situation in the past where a sibling was helping their sibling who had special needs, but they were helping in such a way that it put the other kids who have special needs at a disadvantage, if that makes sense. And we want to be fair to all the children. We want to practice inclusion, but at the same time, we want to have spaces where these children who might not have the ability to collect as many eggs in the full-out melee that happens with the older age groups, we want to make sure that they have that ability. So we're going to need some feedback on how best to manage that situation. So if you just kind of want to think about that, Carrie will come back to you in March and get your feedback on that. So, those are some events that we have coming up. And then I had some updates for you on some things from feedback that you've given us and that we've received from the community that we are working to enact this year. The first is the renovation of the Arts and Enrichment Center. Right now, the space is relatively accessible. It's the parking lot has accessible spaces. It's easily wheeled into using chairs or devices. One of the challenges has been the bathroom situation. So the two regular restrooms that are there are not ADA, or they're not compliant. The doors are narrow, it's very hard to navigate in there. We do have a third bathroom that has been labeled an accessible bathroom for a long time. However, it's really not. And so we are renovating that bathroom. We renovated the other two bathrooms. They're putting new flooring throughout the building. We're painting, we're doing some big things in the building to dress it up. But as a part of this renovation, we are also installing a new door. So the bathroom that has been the accessible bathroom, you had to go into a storage room off of the hallway, and then the bathroom was right there in that storage room. They are moving the door to that bathroom to the exterior hall, to the main hallway, and closing it off from the storage room so that it's truly a dedicated bathroom. They are also repositioning the sink, because what they realized when they were in there getting ready to lay the floor is that the sink was literally positioned right in front of the toilet. So there was no way to really navigate, and they were putting a proper ADA height toilet in there and some grab bars. So that was some feedback that we had received from your various reviews of the property, and so they're taking action on that, and that'll be ready probably within the next couple weeks. So, there are some changes happening at the square that you should be aware of. At Christmas, we blocked off things differently for safety. We are always quick to admit when we do something wrong, and we're quick to pivot when needed. We had an issue because the popularity of the light show on the square has resulted in very large crowds, and with the blinking lights, and the train coming through, it can get really chaotic. And year before last, someone hit the train. They backed into the train. And while no one was hurt, it was scary. And so what we did as a way to try to protect pedestrians, protect the train. What we found was that there were a lot more people than we realized who wanted to pull up and watch the show from their vehicle, even though it was available some nights of the week to do that on Short Street. When the train was running, it was not. And so we ended up midway through going ahead and removing the picnic tables that had blocked off Main and Main Cross. We left Short Street blocked off on the nights the train ran, and I've talked to we had our first Christmas season meeting already this year, last week, and I talked to the train drivers, and they said that as long as the parking opposite the actual square on Short Street is clear, that gives them enough room to pull the train around. So the parking spaces that touch the square itself will still be open this year. So we've readapted that in a way that we hope will still help provide safety for the train, but still provide full accessibility for people to be able to watch the show from different angles, from their vehicles. I don't know if you've been seeing in the news or on our Facebook page, but there are two other big things happening on the square. One's pretty obvious because the building's gone. We are moving forward with the parklet idea that was presented, and a part of that is redesigning the curb there for accessibility so that there will be no curb. Instead, there will be large planters and items that are designed to block traffic from coming up. But as far, you'll just wheel and walk right up into the parklet area. The other thing that we're doing is we've torn down the old, it depends on how old you are, what you call it, whether it was the old YMCA or Obie's Pool Hall, but whichever one you remember it as, it's gone. The building was in pretty bad shape, and we are moving forward with turning that into an event lawn with a permanent stage. And I think one of the things that's a testament to this group and what you're doing is raising our awareness to making sure that that is a fully accessible space. So not only will people be able to access that event lawn from the square itself, but we're going to, part of that project calls for parallel parking to be installed on Water Street there below the hill, and for there to be a switchback ramp that comes up that will be dedicated handicap parking with a switchback ramp that comes up to the top of the hill, so there'll be multiple points of access for that event space. So the redevelopment commission is taking action on both of those items at their meeting tomorrow night. We also tomorrow night are taking the next step in removing the H&R Block building. They have a lease that goes through tax season this year, but when that is done and they are out, we will move forward with the demolition of that building and making that into an accessible parking space dedicated specifically for parking for people using wheeled devices and walking, but there will be some more parking spaces dedicated with the ramp space to unload ramp devices. So that's the easiest point of access right now to get to our playground. So we're all moving forward with those. We are also moving forward with a master plan for the next phase of the Family Activities Park. We were awarded, just today it was announced, we were awarded a $250,000 grant to pay down some bond debt we have on the Family Activity Park so that we can move forward into the next stage of development for that park. When we do that, the group that will be managing that will want to meet with you as a stakeholder group, and we'll probably call on other parents in the community to have a true stakeholder group. So that will not necessarily be a public meeting of yours, you'll just be invited as stakeholders to that session. Just to inform that master plan of what needs to happen out there. There's some challenges, there's some good things about that park. There are things we've made better about that park, but there are some things that we can do. So whether it's looking at the putt-putt for the senior citizens and the fact that, we have the senior games there every year, and there's a gentleman who uses a wheelchair and has a difficult time getting up to actually, but I don't know if there can be some redesign of that, or the playground itself, although it's an ADA compliant playground, it is not a fully accessible playground, and it's getting to be kind of worn out, so there may be an opportunity there to upgrade the playground. I don't know, but we'll want your feedback on these things as they work on that master plan. And then the other thing, my biggest task here tonight, when we installed the fully accessible playground in Greenway, the bathrooms immediately became an issue. We put them on a timer, and we would open the doors during daylight hours, and the amount of vandalism that we experienced has just been unmanageable. And it's not that we don't have cameras, it's not that we don't identify the people who are doing the vandalism, it's just that it just doesn't stop. And the weird part is that we didn't have this problem before we put those bathrooms on a timer. When they were just locked with a deadbolt, we had really no issues. As soon as we put them on a timer, that's when we started having issues. And two of the biggest issues have been twice they ripped the doors. They broke the doors to get in, and they were on a timer. And those are great. It's $700 every time we have to replace a door. So what do we do? We get, calls all the time from parents that are using the playground about needing to use the bathrooms and how a porta pot doesn't work for them, even an ADA porta pot, that kind of stuff. So we've made the decision to try again. But this time we are changing the bathrooms. Instead of a male and female bathroom, we are just putting them both as family bathrooms. We are pulling everything out and putting in one ADA compliant toilet, removing the excess toilets, putting in a stainless steel sink, hoping that it will last in both of them. And in one of them, we will have a standard changing table for an infant and baby. In the other one, we want to put an adult changing table. And we'll label that marked family bathroom, adult size changing table. This is where we need your help. In looking at these adult size changing tables, this is a financial breaker. They have some that we can purchase for $3,000 that just mount to the wall. and hold up to 400 pounds, but our concern is that that's not gonna be stable and sturdy enough. They just don't look very stable and sturdy, and it's $3,000. The option for the standard that you see elsewhere, where there is a bracket and then the table sits on the bracket, those run anywhere from $7,000 to $12,000. So, we have looked at some, so one of our staff members has been to the zoo, the Louisville Zoo, and he noted that it's not a fold-out table, it's just worked into the structure of the cabinet, that it is the right height, it's obviously, you can put an adult-sized person on it, it's stable enough. So my question to you is, will that be okay? Because if we can build a sturdy table, we have enough room in there to build a sturdy table. We've looked up the dimensions, has to be at least 12 inches off the ground, which would make it higher than that. There's an inch range for how high it needs to be. We know that it needs to be easily cleanable material, we can do that. Like, there are things that we can do, but it would be custom built by us to be essentially a standalone table that would not fold up and fold down. If we go with that kind, that space day where it folds up and folds down, I don't know where we would get the money to pay for that. That's a very big expense, considering that we're doing all these other changes. We just don't have that in our budget to do that. So that's where I'm.
I mean, I think, I have a child that, you know, is not potty trained, and she's 7, and probably will never be potty trained. I have everything with me, like I have, like, you know, I have disposable pads, we always have a blanket, even in the summertime, just for those reasons, if I have to lay something on the floor, or if I have to lay something out in the grass or something, so, and I think the majority of people that I'm around, I feel like they probably have those things too, just for that reason, if they have an older child that, you know, has to be changed, or if they're obviously with an adult that has to be changed, they probably have those supplies as well, because there's very few places you go that has an adult changing station. So you do have to figure out every way to change them. Normally you see them in the back of their vehicles, or, you know, so that's not uncommon. So, I mean,
And we're trying to
people
avoid
have,
that.
yeah, so,
We're
yeah.
trying to give privacy, and
yes,
we're trying to give dignity.
yes,
Where we're not laying children on the floor
yes,
where people's feet have trod.
Yes.
Or adults on the floor where people's feet have trod. And so, we're committed to putting a station in one of those bathrooms. And we have the space to do it by taking out all the toilets and making it a family, you know, single-use bathroom. I guess the biggest question is, have you encountered those kinds of stations that are not those fold-down tables? You know, have you encountered the ones that are stationary?
Cracker Barrel.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what made me start carrying things, is because Cracker Barrel, and there's a few steakhouses that are like that.
Okay.
They're like that.
We found some pictures of some in airports. Like I said, our staff found the dimensions of what they need to be and everything. I just wanted to make sure that that was gonna be something that,
Water parks.
Yeah.
I mean, if a water park has a changing station for a child, it's one of those,
stationary.
yeah.
Okay. Because we want to make sure that we're providing that, because I mean, that's the whole part of having our park down there, and, you know, and we know that as children age, and they still may have that need. Yeah. And I just want to make sure, so, and we also realize that not every caregiver can also get down on the floor with someone to change, so there's that as well, so.
Yeah.
All right, okay, well, I will tell them, that, you know, continue, you know, take the dimensions that they have found, and that as long as they can customize one that will be easily cleanable and meet all those criteria, that they should be good to go on that then.
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, those are the items I needed to cover with you, so.
Okay. All right, did anybody else have any additional items they wanted to discuss? Anything? All
Are
right.
we still hoping to get another member? To
Yeah,
have 7?
Yes. I'm still open to suggestions. I would like to have 7 because I don't want to reduce it to a 5-member board since we do have 6 members. There is a member that may not be able to continue, but has expressed that there could be someone easily to fill that space. So I'm still looking for that 7th member. So I'm still willing to take suggestions on that as well. We lost a person who was on the board representative who had a disability, so I think that was the biggest thing, is I wanted to make sure that we were replacing. I still want the majority of this board to be people who live with a disability, not just those who, not that there's anything inferior by caregivers or service providers, it's just that a board like this, in my opinion, should be led predominantly by those who live with disabilities, so. But I'm also not asking everybody in the community to out themselves with their disability either, because, yeah, so I am still looking, and hopefully I'll have somebody before your March meeting.
All right, anything else? All right, and I would like to call for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
All right, you want to second it?
I'll second it.
All right, 5:56, we will adjourn.